Chelsea have well and truly won it all. They have won the Club World Cup. It is over. They have smashed Luis Enrique's PSG 3-0, and we're going to talk about exactly how Enzo Maresca did that in today's video. Now, if you watched my Chelsea versus PSG tactical preview, you would have been well prepared to see what we saw today with Malo Gusto, Cole Palmer and João Pedro all being extremely key in the attacking phase. This passing network from between the posts is a great example of why that right-hand side connectivity was so key in build-up, but also in the attacking game plan. When looking at the average positions, you can see the clear game plan that Maresca had in mind, isolating those partnerships out wide, looking to play around the PSG press, using those fullbacks in very dual roles. But before we touch on those tactics in a bit more detail on the ball, let's speak about that off-ball game plan, because Maresca has even said that he thought Chelsea won the game in the first 10 minutes by setting the message and the standard of the game. As you can see from the offset, Chelsea looked to take the game to PSG, playing in a man-to-man press with the likes of Caicedo pushing up really high, Reece James playing in a bit of a dual sort of pressing role here, as you can see with Trevor Chalobah, which can then quickly become a back five, almost in a 5-2-3, with Cole Palmer and Enzo Fernandez blocking those passing lanes from the back line into those half spaces. It was this aggressive press and aggressive mindset that Enzo Maresca believes helped Chelsea in this game. As you can see here, in the first 10 minutes, Chelsea establishing 5 on the last line with 3 very high up in that rest defence, ready to sustain pressure and really give it to PSG in their own half. But not only off the ball, Maresca's game plan on the ball to hurt this PSG team was absolutely spectacular, and we're going to get into the exact details as to why. This is a quote from Enzo Maresca after the game saying PSG had 3 midfielders and 2 of them were in charge of Reece and Moy. Vitinha was in charge of Enzo. We thought it was a good chance to exploit the space with Cole and Malo. It was the game plan. And this was the case. We saw Chelsea trying to initiate that man-to-man press from PSG in the opening phases when Chelsea were in their own half, looking to then play long and try and find either Malo Gusto in those spaces to stretch the defence and really stretch those lines between the defensive and midfield lines, or the chance to find Cole Palmer between the lines. Something we've touched on in previous videos is how PSG look to positionally rotate their players such as Vitinha and Mendes in this position, leaving Vitinha in that position to defend the transition. This is something Maresca wanted to exploit with Cole Palmer on this occasion, making that run in behind for a direct long ball where he gets on the front foot and it does actually end up leading to a goal. He finds himself bounding down on the PSG box. João Pedro makes an extremely clever run to run off the shoulder where Cole Palmer can then take his time. He can look to fake as if he's going to come back and play it into João Pedro, which opens up the space for him to easily drift inside. Look at how much separation he creates for himself to then slot it into that bottom left corner as if he is literally just passing it in. But for me, it was the third Chelsea goal that showed the exact game plan that Enzo Maresca had drawn up to really hurt PSG down that left side. Once again, you can see Chalobah is probing that man-to-man press. As you can see, 4 PSG players are looking to press extremely high. This allows Gusto to run off the back of Kvaratskhelia, and this is what leads to an overload in the attacking third for Chelsea. Nuno Mendes is now unable to follow Cole Palmer all the way into midfield because he's now got to deal with Malo Gusto making the run into that space. And as you can also see at the top of the screen, João Pedro has done extremely well to cheat his side onto the right side of the pitch. So he is pinning the opposition centre-back so that Nuno Mendes has 2 players to worry about and the centre-back cannot help him. This allows them to progress into the final third down this side of the pitch. And again, Cole Palmer has the space because Gusto is out there pinning Nuno Mendes slightly wider, giving João Pedro that space to run into where he plays a perfect pass, getting the assist, and João Pedro scores his 3rd Chelsea goal with a lovely chip shot past Donnarumma. And speaking of the PSG goalkeeper, it's only right to mention Robert Sanchez and give him the praise that he deserves for that performance, making 5 saves from inside the penalty area, making a high claim. He was coming out, really taking charge of his box, made some huge saves in that second half, and he was very good distributing the ball. In the first half, just as part of the game plan, but in the second half, really releasing some of those plays down that right channel to try and give Chelsea those transition attacks to even make it 4-0, which they did have the chance to do. Cole Palmer with a man-of-the-match performance goes without saying, scoring 2 goals, getting an assist and turning up in a cup final for Chelsea once more. 2 key passes, 3 out of 6 successful dribbles. It was that ability to drop into the space, realise when he had to do it and really form that connection with Gusto that Enzo Maresca wanted to exploit against this PSG side. And Malo Gusto deserves a ton of praise for this performance because he is one of the players that has been getting a ton of stick in the build-up to this cup final. Making 4 tackles in the game, relentlessly running up and down the pitch, again winning his duels. He was making those runs and using his energy to really impact the game on both sides of the ball, and it was very much a part of Enzo Maresca's game plan today, both on and off the ball. Again, Malo Gusto deserves a lot of praise for that performance. And then, as we already mentioned, João Pedro, the new boy, he got another goal. That's 3 already for Chelsea. He was so key in terms of, again, pinning on that right-hand side of the pitch to allow Gusto and Palmer to open up those spaces in attack, but also just to link things up, fight and press from the front. He was absolutely superb once more, and he is proving to be someone who will be a big part of Enzo Maresca's plans next season. But one of the main things I want to touch on now that we've gone through the tactical aspects of the game is the fighting spirit and unity of this Chelsea side, because I think it is something that Enzo Maresca is definitely breeding in this team. And you can see it here from Enzo Fernandez's reaction after the game had finished when Chelsea knew they had just won the Club World Cup. Part of building the foundations of this team is having a group that all believe in one another. They know what they're going to do. Maresca built on that all of last season. They're a young group of players, and the unity within the squad working for one another is clearly there, and it's building even more each and every season for everybody to see. It was growing already under Poch, but now we're seeing even new heights under Enzo Maresca within this group. Something Maresca got criticised a bit for in the Premier League campaign was when he said that Chelsea were not in a title race, but in this quote, Maresca said that he told the players that the competition will become just as important or even more important than the Champions League in the future, really riling them up for this competition and making a big deal, which again you could see in the way that they played, pressed for one another, the intensity. They wanted to win this, and I think Maresca had a huge part to play in that in terms of how he riled his players up for the game, got the mentality, the team spirit and everything in full unity. Let me know every single thought you have from this game in terms of who played well, who you was impressed with the most, Enzo Maresca's game plan, your thoughts on that. All of those things I want to see in the comments. This has been a bit of a shorter video and a bit of a different type of video because I am going away this week. So I was unable to do the usual tactics board review, but I wanted to get something out to sort of speak about this, and I will try to answer all comments. So leave all your questions and all your thoughts and we'll get down to them. Support the video by dropping a like, all the comments, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.